So from project A and B, what is that you want to select? Guys, you're
Yes.
listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
See, from you have understood this. We have stepped into the first leg of our decisions. The first leg is investment decisions. Now, what we are looking at is an investment decision, right? Yesterday we have noted there are 4 important decisions: investment decisions, then financing decisions, then dividend decision, then working capital decision. So today we are starting with investment decisions. Now you have to make a choice between these 2 machines or 2 projects, project A or project B. You can also call it as mission A or mission B. So if you are investing in project A in the year 0 means today, right? End of the year 0 means today. Today you have to shell out some 9,000 rupees. So if you do this, you will be getting 3,000, 3,000, 3,000 and 6,000 in the coming 4 years. So end of the year 1 year from now, you get 3,000, then 3,000, 3,000 like that, then 6,000. So when you have the cash flows within brackets, they indicate cash outflows. So that's why they are put in brackets, or sometimes they are represented with minus. So 9,000 within bracket means 9,000 is the cash outflow. Similarly, if you invest 9,000 today, you will get 6,000, 3,000, 3,000 and 3,000. So which of these 2 projects you would like to select?
Project B, sir.
So project B. Why?
Initially, we are getting high amounts in the first year itself, sir. And the total is anyway same for both.
Yeah. So the total amount that you are getting in both the projects remains the same. It is 15,000. So you get 15,000 in project A. You also get 15,000 in project B by investing 9,000 today. But in project B, you are getting this money, right, little sooner. So now it is important to get our money sooner or later.
Sooner, sir.
Sooner. But then we should also have a mechanism to quantify this, how sooner it is. So now you see, one of the tasks is that you should now develop a framework. Framework means you should be able to quantify the advantage that you have B in some way, and then make that as a decision, what you call parameter. So if I ask you how sooner you are getting, or you just develop a parameter for this case, we can say that is called payback period. So what we're essentially looking at is, yes, I get my money sooner, but we keep a benchmark. How many days it is taking in case of A to get my 9,000 back? How many days it is taking? How many years?
3 years.
3 years. Whereas in case of project B, it is taking
2 years.
2 years. So now the method that we're talking about is called payback period method. So you can start filling this. Payback period method. That is a method that we are now stating. So what is payback period method? So then you can also put it in some acronyms, PBP method. Now here you can start writing payback period. Right? Payback period is the length of the time required for the cash flows of the project to recover the cost of the investment. It is the length of the time. How many days, how many years, how many months it will take to get your money back, to get your initial investment back. This is called payback period method, right? And it is the minimum period within which the original investment is recovered. Now, based on payback period method, choose one of the following projects. Now we can write here the payback period of project A. How much?
3 years.
3 years. And payback period of project B is 2 years. Right? Now, because payback period of project B is less than payback period of project A, we would be preferring project B. So because everybody would like to get their investment back early than waiting for more time. So we say the accept reject criterion for payback period method is, of the two projects, the one with lower payback period is more preferable. The one with a lower payback period is more preferable. But let us say you have only one project. Now, based on payback period, you have to decide whether the project is to be accepted or not. If you have two projects, then it is easy. You can compare the payback periods of both the projects, and based on that, you can decide whether you should actually, consider the one project or the other. So, whichever project is having a lower payback period, that one you select. But let us say you have only one project. So, if you have only one project, then you should actually compare its payback period with what is called as cut-off payback period. Every organization, based on its own experience, will have some standards, will have some cutoffs. So let us say one organization is having a cut-off payback period of 3 years. What does it mean? It will not accept any project whose payback period is more than 3 years. So this company wants its money back within 3 years. Similarly, you might have another company whose cut-off payback period is 10 years. So let us say the companies that operate in the real estate, the companies that operate in infrastructure, they cannot expect to recover their money. Let us say if you are building an airport, so the GMR cannot expect their money has to be recovered within 3 years. It is not possible in such projects. So they might have a different cut-off payback period, like 10 years, right? So for that company, then each project they evaluate whether the payback period is less than 10 years or not. Based on that, they will decide. Right, a quick review, 2-3 minutes, reflect on what is payback period, and just let me know whether you have understood this or not. What is payback period? When you have two projects, how do you take a decision based on payback period? And when you have only one project, how do you take a decision based on payback period? Any questions?
No, sir.
Right. Now, the C and D, you can do it at home, leave it. Now go to project E. Calculate the project payback period of project E and calculate the payback period of project F. What is payback period of project E? Let's do that. I'll ask you later. Just do it and keep it with you. Yeah. So what is the payback period of project E?
2 years, sir.
2 years. What is the payback period of project F?
2 years, sir.
So according to payback period, which project you choose?
Since both are equal, sir.
According to payback period, both the projects are equally preferable, isn't it? As long as they have the same payback period, according to payback period method, both are equally preferable. Okay. Now keep that aside. Use your common sense. Let us say don't apply payback period method, but you apply whatever criteria that you deem fit, and tell me which of these two projects you will choose.
Yes.
Project F.
Hmm?
Project F.
Project F. Why?
On the third year, we are getting more than project T.
So obviously you are getting more in project F compared to project P. This means the payback period is only worried about in how many years you are recovering your investment. After you have recovered your investment, what is happening in the project? It is blind. It is not able to see that. So even if I make this 2,000 as 20,000, or if I make it even it as 2 lakhs, even then payback period says both the projects are equally preferable. Both the projects are equally preferable. So that is the limitation of the payback period method, because it cannot see what is happening beyond the the recovery of the initial capital. But unfortunately, that is an important thing, right? Can we ignore what is happening after you recovered your capital? So we'll have to take into account the entire profitability of the project. So a method that takes care of the entire profitability of the project is called the average rate of return or accounting rate of return. Average, or it's also called as accounting rate of return. It's also called as ARR method. Right? So the ARR, it measures the profitability of the project and is given by ARR equal to average annual cash flow divided by initial cash outlay. ARR is the average annual cash flow. That means per annum, how much cash flow you are getting on an average. So how do you get average annual cash flow? You get the average annual cash flow by the total cash flow of the project divided by economic life of the project. Now look at this. Look at the total cash flow of the project. How much is the total cash flow for project E?
3,000.
3,000. So the average annual cash flow is
1,000.
see average annual cash flow. Now this is project E. This is project F. Now you look at the total cash flows. So let us make it total cash inflows. The total cash inflows is 3,000 in case of project P, 3,500 in case of project F. Then life of the project. So life of the project in years. This is also 3 years, this is also 3 years. So average annual cash flow. average annual cash flow is 1000, right? 3000 by 3. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So here this 3 is equal to 1 divided by 2. And 4. Initial investment. So initial investment is 1500.
Sir, how it is 3 equal to 1 divided by 2?
Huh?
Sir, how it is 3 equal to 1 divided by 2?
Yeah, the average annual cash flow we are calculating. Average annual cash inflow, right? Average annual cash inflow is total cash inflow of the project divided by economic life of the project.
Sir, got it. Sir, it is a row.
Yes, yes. Right. Then 5 is you get the average rate of return. So the average rate of return is 5 is equal to 3 divided by 4. So 1000 divided by 1500. How much? 66.66%. Calculate the same for project F.
Oh, 77.8%.
$77.77%.
8%.
So the average annual cash flow is 3,500 by 3. How much is that?
1167.
Divided by 1500. Yeah. Now you see the ARR actually differentiates between the two projects, as the project F is 77.77% profitable, whereas project E is 66.66% profitable. So now it is obvious to say, when I am recovering my money in the same time in both the projects, so I would go with the project which is giving me more money. So going by this, I would select what is called as project F. So any doubts in ARR calculation, please? Any doubts in ARR calculation?
Sir,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, ARR is only calculated when the PBB is same.
Pardon?
ARR is only calculated when the payback period is same.
No. You can calculate ARR even when payback period is different. We'll go to that. Just wait. Huh? No, ARR is measuring one aspect, that is called profitability. Payback period is measuring one aspect, how many days you will get back your money. These are two aspects, like a person has a height and weight. Right? Now in this particular situation, ARR method is useful to break our dilemma. Whether we want to go with project A or project F, I will go with project F because it offers me more percentage. Is this clear, please?
Yes, sir.
So now, what is the accept reject criterion for ARR method? Of the two projects, the one with higher ARR is more preferable. Higher the ARR, the better it is. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But just like we have discussed in case of what you call the payback period, if you have only one project, then its ARR should be more than cutoff ARR. Here it is more. See, how do we accept projects based on ARR method? If it is only one project, how do you decide whether a project should be accepted or not? So you accept a project if its ARR is more than what is your cutoff.
Sir, how to get cut off?
Yeah. So like we have discussed in case of payback period method, the cutoff will be decided based on the experience. See, I have certain experience in, let us say, handling things. Then I know unless I get 25%, it is not good to invest my money. So
Okay, sir. So it will be different in different situations.
different situations, different projects, different companies, it will be different.
Okay, sir. Got it.
Same company might have different cutoff ARRs for different types of projects. If it is an infrastructure projects, then I might have one X percentage as ARR. If it is, let us say, investing in stock market, my ARR may be different. Cutoff ARR may be different. Any questions about ARR method? Is ARR clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, based on the ARR method, you please find out which of the projects do you choose between G and H. Based on ARR method, which of the projects you are choosing. So to do that, what you should do? Yeah. Panels. ఒకటి ఏసీ
ఇదేమో వేసే కృష్ణ ఇయ్యనా
వస్తే చేస్తాను కదా. ఇంజనీరింగ్ వాడు ఎవరు సప్లై చేశారో వాళ్ళు అడగమను. మనకి వాడిని ఇంజనీరింగ్ వాళ్ళని అడగమను. ఇంజనీరింగ్ వాళ్ళు నన్ను అడుగుతారు. So have you calculated the ARR of project B?
20%.
20.
Sir, I am getting this. Don't know whether it is right or wrong. 20% for both.
What about others? Everybody got 20% for both?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then, what's our problem now? So what to do? But just you apply your mind and tell me which one do you accept.
Project G.
Project G. Why project G? Why project G?
Sir, project H, sir.
Just yeah. See, now we have the project G and H have got the same 20% ARR. Just keep the the ARR aside and tell me which one do you go with? Project G or H?
Project G, sir.
G, why?
So its PBP is high.
Pardon? It's
Returns in the initial days are high, sir, when compared to H.
so you are getting your money sooner in project G compared to H. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is what your payback period method is supposed to measure, right? The payback period method measures in which project you are getting your money sooner. So you calculate payback period and check whether your decision is right. Calculate payback period for project G and project H.
Both are same, sir.
How much?
4 years.
4 years. This is also 4 years. Now, why is project payback period is failing? Because it is supposed to measure this now, where you are getting your money sooner. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But then why is it failing here?
It is showing the entire payback is the same, but half of the payback we can calculate it.
What is half of the payback, boss?
Sir, like half of the investment we receive early, sir, in the first method.
No, like that, how you can be so selective, half 45%? See, once you have made a method, it should work, right? But tell me why payback period is failing here? Is payback period failing here?
Yes, sir.
See, payback
Yes,
period
sir.
is not failing. See, it is supposed to measure in how many years you get your money back. So by that definition, it is correct only. In case of G, you get in 4 years. In case of F, also you get in 4 years. So, but the point that we are trying to look at is different. It's not that how much sooner or later you are getting. On the average, what is happening in the entire project, it is not about just recovering your money. In the whole project, if you have some leeway that you get your cash flow sooner, then these cash flows can be utilized for some other purpose. Right? So our assumption of payback period method that it is measuring actually in which project you are getting your cash flow sooner was not actually right. We have assumed it that way. Payback period never said, I will measure in which project you are getting your cash flow sooner. It only said, I will measure how much time it takes to get your money back. Right. So there is something that both payback period and the account what you call ARR are failing. What is that something that both of them are not in a position to detect? First, let us write these things. The merit of payback period method is it considers liquidity. It considers liquidity, but it ignores profitability. The merit of ARR method is it considers profitability, but it ignores liquidity.
Liquid.
But both the methods ignore what is called as time value of money. Means money has value